What's poppin', y'all? Why did everybody turn on Kendrick Lamar? Especially people that seem to be all the way on his side and opposition of Drake during the beef. And there's a lot we can go over with this. But first, I want to start off with just myself, for instance. Because somebody had made the point of asking me, he's like, oh, well, after all of the stuff that I've been talking about as of late, this person replied to me on X, does it change anything that I feel about the beef in 2024? And my answer is still no, but yes, in a way. The only thing that's changed, in my opinion, is the longevity of the songs and the diss tracks in the beef as opposed to the outcome of the beef. The outcome, it has not changed whatsoever. And my opinions have always been that the music was great. Drake dropped some great music. However, I will say, and I feel like a lot of you guys have to agree, that Not Like Us has not aged very well. I mean, sure, we listened to it while it was happening. It was a great song. It was a massive global hit. Like, get that whole, oh, nah, man, this was botted stuff out of here. Everybody around the world was listening to that song. It was the biggest thing ever. It's like if Tupac and Biggie were dissing each other, it was definitely bigger than Jay-Z and Nas, whatever beefs that they had. And I look at Not Like Us similar to a Story of Adidon, although Not Like Us is a far better song than Story of Adidon. But would we say that Drake won the beef versus Pusha T? Absolutely not. Like, that was the kill shot. And unfortunately for Drake, the kill shot was just a revelation. It wasn't being out-rapped and he wasn't having better songs made. But when I listen to a Not Like Us, it's a little bit too explicit. And what allowed it to win the beef, or allowed Kendrick to win the beef, is also what made it age so poorly in comparison to a Family Ties. So Family Ties, and some people will also talk about like, yo, subs being thrown and like, why aren't rappers more direct? Well, unfortunately, when you're direct, and especially if you're direct in a timely manner and you're throwing accusations that don't really hit like that, especially the PDF stuff at the time, it's like, oh, cool. But now you're just like, all right, dog, like, come on now. We can't be rapping along to those lyrics. Like, who's rapping along to A minor 2 years later? It just doesn't hit. Like, you've got to be a loser to be doing that. And that's also why Kendrick Lamar stopped performing it. So he knew what was up with that. I don't think we're going to see him performing it. I think he's going to retire it similar to Back to Back, which I love the song Back to Back. And I do think Back to Back could have been performed for longer, but he wrapped up his beef with Meek Mill and decided to retire that song. Although you can kind of see how Drake understands the landscape a bit better than Kendrick Lamar, because he was like, yo, this song's ran its course. And would it have been lame and annoying to continue performing it? I don't know. We didn't get to see that outcome. But with the Family Ties, all these subliminals allow you to enjoy the track and not harp too much on it. Like Family Matters, excuse me. I don't know. I keep thinking of Family Ties because I'm thinking of Kendrick and Baby Keem, and I really enjoy Family Ties as well. So Family Matters has aged a bit better, I would say. Now, for Kendrick, Euphoria has aged better than the Not Like Us song. But there's also, when you're rapping about a certain time period, it's a dangerous thing to do as a rapper. I remember it was the 2015 At Long Last ASAP album. I don't know if it was Multiply. I don't know if it was M's. It was during that era where he had a bar, and there are other people that did things like this, but he had a bar talking about, oh, P.O.P. hold it down. If you guys remember that really popular Vine of like, I'm legally blind. At the time, and at the moment, you're like, yo, that's funny. But 10 plus years later, a lot of people discovering that won't understand the reference. Even if they look it up, it's not going to hit the same because they weren't present for it. So it makes it kind of suck. It's like, you probably shouldn't have put that there for an album. Now, I do think references to things that are happening in culture at the time are great for mixtape related projects, maybe like a playlist, maybe a single here and there, because you do want to make sure that everyone knows you're tapped into what's going on. But when it comes to a project, an album that you expect and want to, hopefully desire to, live for an extended period of time, decades hopefully, then you're going to want to eliminate stuff like that. And it reminds me of this author who's a lot of books I read from him. I just recently discovered it maybe 2 years ago, not 2 weeks ago. And he would say that the reasoning why his writing is so simple, like very, very simple writing, doesn't use big books, or big words, doesn't use big words. It's because initially he found out that many of his readers were people that had learned English as a second language from abroad. So if he was using specific words that only Americans understand, that would make it harder for them to read. So he opted to simplify, strip away any unnecessary words, strip away everything down to the core, which is actually a lot harder than just writing how he normally would. And his books have performed very well. So that's one part of it. I think Not Like Us hasn't aged well. And now we're going to move to what have you done for me lately? That's the most important thing. So for me, what the hell am I going to talk about now? Even when this was going on, I was saying that, yeah, Drake lost the beef, but I'm listening to Drake over whatever the hell Kendrick's got going on. I've always enjoyed Drake's music more than a Kendrick Lamar, but that doesn't mean that I can't accept that he lost the beef. And suing was a sucker move, and he's trying to, now it's not as much of a sucker move as what Jay-Z's doing right now. So Jay-Z, he's definitely got the crown right now for top sucker move in history. For sure, he's number one right now. And the reason for that, I might explain it in a separate video, but hey, if you agree, you agree. If you don't, you don't. So circling back to what have you done for me lately, Kendrick Lamar wins a BET award when he hasn't dropped an album since GNX. He hasn't really interacted with fans other than a tour, which is a money-making opportunity. And what has Drake done? Drake's dropped 3 albums. No, Drake has dropped 4 albums. So Drake has dropped an album with PND, who my heart and soul, PND's music just resonates. I like Division 2. The OVO roster, when it comes to R&B, we're talking Division, Majid Jordan. I would say Majid Jordan's probably definitely my favorite out of all of OVO. No, after, I would say them and PND are neck and neck. This wasn't the case pre-2017, but they've released a lot of good stuff since then. So he drops Some Sexy Songs for You. Great album. Great hit off of that for last year. And then he comes in with 3 albums, all great albums. I would say Maid of Honor and Iceman are amazing albums. And Habibti, I haven't listened to too much. I just haven't revisited it much. So this guy has dropped 4 albums for us. He's consistently been in front of our face. He's been in front of our feed. He's had a rollout that has engaged and rewarded all of his biggest fans, as well as people in his city. And he's just done activations everywhere. Whereas if you're a Kendrick Lamar fan, what the hell has he done for you? Has he rewarded any of his biggest fans? Like every person that was at the forefront for Kendrick Lamar, what has he really done? Nothing. And I'm not saying he has to do something, but just musically speaking, this guy's given us 4 albums, and this guy's given us 1 album in 2024. So who are we going to like more? Whoever does more for me. Because the only thing I'm concerned about is myself. How are you, as an artist, serving me? And obviously, I will buy whatever it is that you have to sell. I'm not only going to stream your stuff, because the amount of effort that these guys put into making an album, I feel like I owe them buying something, whatever it is. Except Travis Scott's been releasing a lot of trash lately, so I'm not buying any of these garbage clothing collaborations, with all due respect. But that 10-year anniversary of Days Before Rodeo, that vinyl, you bet your behind I bought that. So there's what have you done for me lately? Kendrick Lamar has done nothing for us lately. Nothing for the fans. Nothing for the listeners. He has not provided us new music. That's one section of it. Now, the third section, and I think is one of the more important ones, is what have you done for your peers? What have you done for producers? What have you done for other rappers, other artists? If you want to stay at the forefront of conversation and you want people to support you, you need support from your allies. When you look at a GNX, I think this was a good output by Kendrick Lamar. I do like that he made it a West Coast thing, but that limits you to staying on the West Coast. Like he had a feature with Playboi Carti, but well, let's be for real here. When you look at all of the other people in the rap game, who do you think they're going to align with more? Drake or Kendrick Lamar? Like Kendrick Lamar, you need allies in this game. You can't exist on your own in a way that J. Cole does. But if you want everybody to constantly argue for you, you need allies in the game. And J. Cole has done things like Revenge of the Dreamers. He's tapped in personally with a lot of rappers. So they have a positive disposition towards him. Versus Kendrick Lamar, not only his history of the Control verse, he comes across as, I think he hates on a lot of people. And this leads to people that are fans. Like if you're a fan of any rapper or producer that Drake has shouted out, shown love to, done favors for, you're more likely to lean more towards having a positive disposition of Drake than you are to Kendrick Lamar. And it's not because Kendrick Lamar slimed these people out or anything, but it's simply because that guy's just over there doing his own thing. So minimal allies in the game. You've got no music in a very long time. The last thing that we really remember, do we really remember like Squabble Up? Like Squabble Up is kind of a meme now. Like, yeah, it's a hit. Luther is for sure a hit. So like Squabble Up and TV Off, like but really we remember Luther, and Luther is more of a like mainstream, like hip hop itself doesn't really remember Luther like that. We could say it was TV Off and Not Like Us. And that's the most recent memory of Kendrick Lamar. And it's like, yo, is this still a victory lap? And the dangerous part, which is something that I've said, is that Kendrick Lamar might, if he's not able to do something, his next move is going to be very interesting to watch, because he might just end up as the guy that beat Drake in the battle. And do you want that stench on you? I know that would bother. It's a good victory to have, but you don't want to be known for that. You want to be known as, I don't know what he wants to be known as, to be frank with you. Because like, for example, Jay-Z, he lost to Nas, but you didn't think of Jay-Z as the guy that lost to Nas. And for a while, Nas, like these guys, and Nas coined ether, right? Like you get ethered, Not Like Us. I don't think Not Like Us is going to last as long as an ether. And when you listen to Ether, like I said, it's vague enough to where a new listener to Ether and a new listener to Not Like Us, they're going to look at it, they're going to react. I think they're going to react to Ether more favorably, because Not Like Us, it's just an if you had to be there type of thing. But hey, maybe I don't know what the hell I'm talking about. And really the only way we can know the outcome of this is to wait 10 years. And then we get somebody that's 17 or 18 and we have them listen to both of the songs. And we're like, yo, what do you think of this? What do you think of Family Matters? What do you think of Ether? What do you think of Not Like Us? What do you think of Takeover? And rank these. Now, I don't like the Takeover and Ether and putting them with these two songs, because there's like 20 plus years in between the music, and production has gotten way better since back then, and rappers have gotten way better at making songs since back then. So that's a little bit unfair, but it's a simple answer as to why. And people, what the hell are you going to talk about when it comes to Kendrick Lamar right now? Like, tell me. Oh, like he doesn't even give breadcrumbs. Like, for example, Drake, he'll post stories for a year plus where people can go back to it and see like, yo, look, he was putting together the ice block in the middle of Toronto a year ago. If you look back at this story on Plot Twist, even Cardi does things like that as well. Kendrick doesn't give you anything. So like, what, people are going to keep rehashing the last thing that he did and trying to create some meaning out of it when there is none? So it's really Kendrick Lamar's fault, and partially Drake as well, for giving people good product, which is always what they're going to go towards, because people are interested in self, as they should be. Like, don't come here telling me, nah, they should be interested in the artist even if he doesn't do anything for them. What kind of goofy take is that? But let me know what y'all think in the comments. Like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell if you enjoyed, and I'm going to see y'all on the next one.